Hi, I'm Valerie,
And I'm Taylor.
and welcome to
Whimsy Gossip.
where we talk all things fantasy.
And our favorite ways to escape reality.
Today's episode,
It is our welcome back episode. Yay!
after a year-long
We're
freaking
finally back.
hiatus.
I know, we took a whole year off. It's been a really busy year. It's funny because we started out with Whimsy Gossip as a podcast, and then it started evolving into like not just Whimsy Gossip podcast, but Whimsy Gossip Productions. And it became making like some really fun audios, and then now fan films, and not just one fan film, but we've now made 3 fan films in the span of like a year and a half,
It's
which
crazy.
is wild. Um,
Oh my
and
God.
then we have another one coming. We actually technically have done 4.
Yeah.
We've done chapter 54, You Do Not Yield, chapter 70, and then we just finished and just wrapped on like 2-3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Literally
Chapter
like
65, which is the cauldron scene.
almost a month ago. Yeah. We wrapped on 65, which is
This is wild.
crazy. Um, Also in that time
That was our best
period,
one to date.
I had a baby
Val had a baby.
who's
Yay!
almost a year
I
old.
got pregnant. Yeah, that's so wild to think about that I hate that. Literally hate it.
Me
He's
too.
like him taking his like little steps the other day in that video. I just wanted to cry. I was like, ew,
Yeah, so
you're not
many
even a year old.
people have been asking on our social media, like, are you guys doing the podcast again? What happened to the podcast? Are you guys still podcasters? And the answer, hopefully, after you watch this episode, is yes. Like Taylor
Yeah,
said, we started with the podcast. The podcast is so important to both of us, and we're like, I'm really excited to be back. Even though it's on
same.
Riverside, I'm still so excited to be back.
Yeah. We were hoping by like in a year we'd find something a little bit more stable, but here we are with our tried and true pal Riverside, who always seems to fail us, but not this episode.
Yeah.
Um, it's gonna work and just be fine. Anyway, yeah. So Val had a baby. I got pregnant. I am currently 25 weeks pregnant as of today. I don't know how many months that is, but I'm due in August, so time's a ticking. And we filmed chapter 70.
So
And then we
crazy.
filmed chapter 65. We had the chapter 70 premiere. We attended a couple events. It's just been like a whirlwind and really exciting. And while we've been on like this like whirlwind crazy train, we kept always looking back and being like, but the podcast. And we just finally like bit the bullet. And Valerie was like, Taylor, what are you doing on Thursday? And I said, nothing. And she's like, 8 p.m. We are filming. We are going back to the podcast because we've been talking and like, oh, we should make this like an episode for the podcast. We should do this for the podcast. We should do this for the podcast and all these different things. And then finally,
Here we are.
we've kind of like narrowed in an idea of like what we want to do. And sorry if I keep like sounding like I'm out of breath. I just don't have a lot of lung space right now.
That's so
Um,
funny. Literally, it's so funny that like the last episode that we filmed was I was literally a month away from giving birth and like I was like crazy pregnant and now here you are like coming back to the podcast. Now you're crazy pregnant and you're just gonna get
yeah.
continuously more pregnant throughout this this season 4, by the way. Welcome to season 4 of Whimsy Gossip. Holy hell,
4.
holy hell. I think
Is it
it's
season 4? Are we
yes,
sure?
yes, this is our 4th season. Uh-huh.
Why did I think it was season 3? My bad.
Nope, nope.
Well, 4 seasons, 4 fan films. 4 is our number.
Yes. And I just think it's so cool. Like, I really am like excited that we're getting back to the podcast now because like I love looking back on season 3 of our podcast and part of season 2, but mostly season 3, where like I was like pregnant throughout that the whole time. And now it's like this is also a way for you to like look back and for Amelia to look back and like,
Yeah, that's her name.
yeah,
By the way, in case you just listen to our podcast and you never go on our social medias or anything like that, I'm having a little girl. Her name's gonna be Amelia. Yeah,
but I just think, yeah, like I was saying, I think it's gonna be really sweet to like as this to document the end of your last couple of months of your pregnancy and for like Amelia to look back on that and like obviously I'm sure it's going to be brought up in almost every episode like how you're feeling and like the progress of that and everything like that. Like, so like tell everybody how you're feeling
It's
like being
wild.
pregnant. Like, what is that like? Is this your first pregnancy? Like, I know that it's a crazy
This is
experience.
my
So
first pregnancy.
I feel like I'm
It was
interviewing you,
very
like,
much a planned
okay, tell me
pregnancy.
about your.
Okay. So yeah, this is my first pregnancy. Um, all moms are rock stars. Women are incredible. That's
Facts.
what I'm starting off with. Um, this is very much a planned pregnancy. My husband and I wanted to start a family. So we were trying for a good bit. And I'm not going to lie, like finding out I was pregnant was like one of the craziest experiences. And I remember my husband, when I showed him the positive pregnancy test, quick little story time. He looked at it and he said, "Can you take another?" And he said, "Because we've seen no, negative, and not pregnant so many times." And then he was like, "Can you take another?" And I said, "Sure, I have six." So I took all six. And they all said I was pregnant. And I found out at 3 weeks and 4 days that I was pregnant.
Love it.
Um, it was great. It's been like I love being pregnant. I could be pregnant all the time. If my body was a little bit more compliant, I would be totally open for like surrogacy. Um,
Mm. I've
and
thought of
like
that.
carrying other people's babies. Huh?
I said I've thought about that, but I just the labor part of it
Yeah.
all. Oh God.
I have not given birth yet, so I say that now.
Hopefully the
But
drugs work.
I've
The drugs will work
genuinely
for you. The drugs will work for you.
let's they're gonna have to.
They did
But
not work
I've
for me.
genuinely like I can't even that's my biggest fear. I've told Ronald, I'm like, I am thriving in pregnancy, but then the other day when someone was like, "Oh, August is like 3 months away," I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, I'm terrified to give birth." Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's
That's like
crazy.
my biggest fear right now. But yeah, so I would be probably be one of those crazy people that would be like, let's have 20 children. Because I really love being pregnant. I feel like glowy and stuff. I'm not gonna lie, there are days I feel like I'm a stranger in my own body. I've always been a very small person, so this is the biggest I've ever been. And um I if you follow us on social media, I've had like an existential crisis a couple times where none of my clothes fit, nothing looks good, and I've had to like have a couple moments to like sit with myself and be like, okay, we're growing a human. And then went and got a couple of new pieces of clothing to make myself feel better about myself and like, living the pregnant life.
It's
But
really
also,
hard. It's really hard. It's definitely being talked about more on social media now, like the changes and like
which is
how, I
great.
mean, it needs to be talked about. Like, yes, it's a beautiful thing of, being
Yeah.
able to create life and it's so magical, but it's also so hard mentally. Um, and like
No,
I
it
can
is.
so relate with
Um,
you're talking about like, oh, my clothes and nothing's looking right and like this is the biggest I've ever been and like that's just hard. I will tell you
and I
though,
feel like
the smallest I've ever felt was that giant drop like after postpartum where like you go from this giant, you know, belly with the baby and then like all of a sudden and you're it's not even like you're objectively small because you're still postpartum, right? And like, obviously that's a whole nother conversation about, beauty standards and everything like that with society. But like it's just such a drastic change
yeah.
that like I was like, oh, wow, I look so small. Like if I felt so good. I don't know if I'll ever
I
feel that way again cuz now I'm back to hating
I just
myself as a
don't know
typical
like
female. Like I'm back to like, oh, she's
what
bloated and
you
fat.
can't you stop.
That's just
Not
I
you.
mean, it's
No.
just yeah, it's just part of
I've
unfortunately.
never been like body conscious,
Mm.
I guess. Like I've always been a smaller person. I've always just been I mean, there have been times where I hate being small because I feel like, looking like a 12-year-old boy some days. But anyway, I mean, yeah, I've just been it's been like something that I think a lot of people don't really talk about too much. And then maybe like you said, now it's getting talked about more. Your body, and I'm sure postpartum I'm gonna feel all some type of way. So get ready to be like my personal therapist, Val. I'm gonna be like, Valerie. What's going
Well, the
on?
hormone drop
um,
alone, like people are just now starting to talk about that as well. Like it's like literally one of it's the most massive hormone drop that you'll ever experience. And like one of my good friends, is pregnant and she's due literally in 3 weeks. And I was just talking to her on the phone yesterday because she wanted to talk to me like right before she was about to go into labor. And she was like, I just told her a bunch of stuff, but obviously everyone's doing research, right? Like you've probably done tons of research too,
yeah,
Tay. Like everyone Googles and whatever. And she was like, do you have any other advice, anything else for me? And I was like, I told her, I was like, just don't be afraid to ask for help and don't be afraid to accept help when when it's given. And like also be easy on yourself and realize that like you need to take care of yourself. Yes, you need to take care of this baby, but you are also a whole person too. And like if people want to come and like help you, like let them. Obviously, I know there's people that are like annoying or if they're bothering your space, but if somebody wants to come like clean your house or like bring you food or like cook for you or let you take a nap, like take the nap. Like take all of the help that
yeah.
you can. Um
That's gonna be really hard because I'm a very independent person.
yeah, but I am too and it bit me in
So,
the
but yeah,
I am too and it bit me in the freaking ass. Um I tell my mother-in-law this like and I told my friends this all the time like if I could go back in time and like have my mother-in-law come out like right away, I would have because it was like literally Eric and I got home from the hospital and we had this little tiny baby and we were just like what do we do with our hands? Like how do we like and the thing about it is what I told my friend was yes, you're like it's one thing like you literally just ran a marathon and got hit by a car and you're exhausted, but like also your husband or your partner is also so exhausted, not to the same length that you are, but they are also not sleeping. They're not whatever. So you're taking two very exhausted human beings and then like throwing them into a situation of
yeah.
having to care for this like little tiny thing. And so if people want to help you guys, like both get rest and catch up, like let them. That's my advice.
Let them.
Yeah, because I wish that I had somebody here so that Eric and I could take a nap together instead of like trying to divide and conquer and like we're both just like barely
Yeah.
get like doing shifts, like barely getting any catch up. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, but
No, I will. I've been taking all the advice and like logging it in my brain because I've had like OBS has been helping me get like a whole bunch of advice too,
yeah.
on like different things. It's again, everyone's different,
And
but it
shower.
doesn't mean I'm not
Shower
gonna.
every day. Shower every single day. I literally tell all like mamas, like intended mamas to be like, especially first time moms, like, I don't care. Like, no one tells you how TMI, like whatever. No one tells you how stinky you are after giving birth. Like for weeks. For weeks. Like
Really?
you reek. Take a damn shower every single day. Not only will it make you feel like obviously because you stank, it'll make you smell better, but it'll also make you feel better and like it'll give you that moment of peace of like it was like my zen moment of the day and then I would walk out and I felt like refreshed. It's like part of like healing journey for me. It was such a healing thing for me to like start feeling like myself again, taking a shower. And yes, you
Yeah.
will freaking stink. So you need to take one anyway.
I'm also like looking into like clothing after pregnancy and like in case again I want to have a natural birth but I don't know if, like C-section might happen. So I've been looking into like prepping for that and I'm an over preparer sometimes and I sit there and I look online and I'm like, okay, I need to like look at all the things and like make sure and like the other day I was on like one of the Facebook groups and it's like for August babies
Oh,
and like babies born in August like 2025 and this like a couple people have been posting that like so we hit viability week a couple weeks ago at like 24 weeks, some of them like that are due early August, that their babies are already here and they're like, hey, August mamas, get your hospital bags packed because these babies are coming. And I was like, oh my gosh, I literally turned to my husband and I was like, Ronald, I don't have a hospital bag packed. We don't even have a nursery ready.
I
We've
didn't
done
either.
nothing.
I didn't pack my bag until I
I
think
was like,
37 weeks. 37 weeks I packed.
I think I'm gonna once I have my shower because I'm gonna use my
Yep.
diaper bag as my hospital bag. I'm gonna wait. But it's like so leading into that though, like there has been a few complications with my pregnancy
Oh,
that we've had to like adjust some things with. Like this is if you're a dude, I'm really sorry you're listening to this.
99% female audience,
This is gonna be
thankfully.
TMI. Yeah. So this is a little TMI, but and then we'll get off the pregnancy train and we'll talk about life and other things in life and whimsy things. But I got pregnant and I was having a lot of pain and a lot of like cramping that was like getting worse throughout my pregnancy and like throughout the entire first trimester and part of the second trimester. And I was like, you know, it was leaving me like out of breath and sometimes it was leaving me like doubled over in pain. And it was finally like one day my husband looked at me and he was like, and I was asking a bunch of people like, "Hey, is this normal?" And they said, "Oh yeah, pain in pregnancy is very normal. Like it's like round ligament pain or, yeah, your uterus is expanding. This is very normal." And I said, "Okay, cool. Okay." Like that is what it is. And then my husband was like, "I don't think it's normal for you to be like doubled over in pain, like unable to like speak or breathe. Like, can you call your doctor?" And like me being like, "Well, everyone's telling me it's normal. Like, I'll prove you wrong and I'll call them, but I'm doing it just to prove you wrong." Like,
Right.
and telling you because he was very concerned. And I ended up calling and I told them where the pain was and everything. And they were like, no, come in immediately, please. Anyway, I go into the doctors and they do like a little exam and a checkup and they find out that I had an impacted uterus.
Which that was crazy.
Never heard of that. Literally never heard of that. I work in the medical field. And I was like, I have a
I've never
what?
heard of that either.
Um, yeah. And I even asked like my friends who work in ultrasound and they were like, I've never heard of that. They're like, do you have images from it? Like, I want to see what it looks like. And I said, no, I wish I could show you. I wish I had something to show you and like explain it. But essentially my uterus was tilted backwards, like it's retroverted, greater than 45 degrees. And then my uterus was stuck between my tailbone and my like pubic bone or some other bone. I can't remember. Pregnancy brain's a real thing. And they
Yes, it
had to
is.
go in and they had to, yeah, I was 14 weeks pregnant when this happened. And they had to go in and they had to push it back up where it needed to be. And because I was pregnant, there's like no pain meds or anything involved. And I will just say, I will be getting an epidural.
Yes.
Um,
Amen.
that is not that's a
10 out of
non-negotiable.
10
I will be
recommend.
getting an epidural.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also just had other things. Like I passed out. I already, as most of the listeners here know, I do have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, so I have a leaky heart valve already. So, not trying to put my medical information out there, but I did have like an episode where I did pass out. So there's like a couple other concerns that they're having right now, and just due to like some of the complications that I've had in my pregnancy so far, it's kind of leaving us to we unfortunately there's been a couple events that we've had to like back out of because one it's just not safe for me to be like flying and that far away from my doctors in case something does go wrong and also like long extended periods on my feet and I'm the kind of person who I tend to ignore things and I think I can just keep going and going and pushing my body and then I normally would in my day-to-day life before I was even pregnant I would pay the price for it.
Yep.
But then being pregnant I'm paying the price like 10 times more. So I'm really having to like scale back and
Well,
like
even
put
doing
the
65
safety and
was
the
a
health of
whole
my
lot,
daughter.
like for you. I mean, you're
Yeah.
22 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, I was 22 weeks pregnant and I had to wear like I wore like compression shorts, like not even like real, like not a corset or anything, but just like normal like spandexy shapewear, just to kind of try to hide the bump a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was that put me in so much pain. Um, it was ridiculous. Let me just say that I was in so much pain, especially leading up afterwards. But I mean, it was fine. It was like, I mean, it is what it is. It was, what you do. And then I had also, I think, gosh, we had like OBS and MJ. They were checking on me because there was a couple times like being on your feet for long hours, like 12, 16 hours a day, because you're filming and nonstop. And Feyre is literally in every single scene. I just didn't realize that. Um, didn't think about that ahead of time. I was like, oh, the cauldron scene, perfect. I'm like, it's Nesta and Elaine scene. I'm barely in this. This is going to be great for me.
Psych.
Like, this is
I
ideal.
wrong.
And then, yeah, I was like, oh, I don't leave. Okay. So it was just a lot because I don't think people don't realize like when you're filming,
I didn't realize how much I was in
like,
that scene too. Like we're just like dying on the floor the whole time. Like we're just in
yeah,
the whole
I know,
scene.
buddy. He's just crying. I'm so sorry if you hear my dog cry. He's just sitting here crying because he just got fixed and he's a little dramatic.
Oh,
Um, he's a little dramatic right now. But yeah, like Feyre's in the scene the whole time. Moore's in the scene, but I think people don't realize like I guess a segue into chapter 65 chat.
yeah, I might as well. Let's just segue into that talking about it
Yeah,
because we have
like
literally we haven't talked about 70 or 65. Like there's like
oh
two
my gosh,
major things that happened
that's
this
crazy.
year since we've taken a hiatus.
So,
We were planning for 70. I was listening to some of our old episodes
yeah,
like from towards the end of season 3 and I was like, "Oh my god. 70 didn't even wasn't even like it was a baby at that point. We had just done casting
that's crazy.
and now it's already like filmed
That
and
is
came out.
so wild. It's on the internet.
It's literally out now.
um,
And like, yeah, it's I think it's crazy like
wow.
to see the progression and the growth this year and like
Mhm.
54 was such a dream come true. And then, to see our growth on social media, that we grew enough to be able to have like an open casting call to the community, to have hundreds of applicants for 70, and then to have this amazing cast come together, film an amazing movie, and then do it again like a couple months later
Yeah.
is wild.
Literally a couple months,
And then
which
like
is
have like
wild.
more casting call, more hundreds of people applying, and it's like I feel like each time like 70 was a level up where I walked away and I was like, wow, we are like this is like really I don't know what an actual production set looks like, but this feels like pretty good. And then 65, I'm like, oh no, this is getting very professional. Like
Mhm.
which is just so cool to see. But again, like I still have never been on a real
Yeah.
life set, which is also crazy. But utilizing like our resources of people who have been on sets to let us
Yeah.
know, are we getting close? Are we getting close? Like tell us if we're getting closer and closer. Um, I don't know. It's just really cool.
It 60 70 was wonderful, like getting our cast together and seeing I think like it was really cool for 70 it was like Zach, Max, and Corey the first time they met. And like Max had even said like in the interview that he did was like, oh, I have to, pretend to like now love these guys. And then like, but immediately they just clicked. Like I'll never forget the first night at Erin's
Yeah.
house. She was so sweet. And she had like this welcome party for everyone. And she, through this whole thing, and then like, Max and Corey were there and they were already like chatting and vibing. And then Zach walked through the door and there was like there's these massive hugs that were given. And I
Yeah.
was like, wait, this is actually precious. And then I look over and the three of them just go walk over to the cooler where like the beer is. And they go and they're just having a beer together and they're laughing already. And then
It's
it
so
was like
cool.
during chapter 70 their like little shenanigans just continued and their like laughs in between takes and like back at the cast house like they bonded and they were just like
Face
joking around a
masks.
lot and the face mat. Oh, and then Drew joining in too. Drew was the best addition to our family
Drew.
possible.
Oh,
I love Drew. And
there's
then
so much love for these
the
people. It
premiere
makes me want to
came
cry.
and I
Oh my
know.
God.
And the premiere came and then people bonded even more and then chapter 65 happened and it was just crazy to see like this little family and again I talk about the Bat Boys because they are supposed to have like this brotherhood, like they've been raised together like brothers. Like I
Yes.
was explaining to someone, like trying to explain the dynamic of the Bat Boys, like, oh no, you don't understand. Like they are the definition of found family because they are Azrael was kind of abandoned, Cassian's technically like bastard born, like,
Yeah.
and those three chose each other, like they
Yeah.
chose at the end of the day like to be family. And I was like, and I think the bond that Corey and Zach and Max have, and then it's just so easy to see that like they really do bring the bond to life like off screen
They
too,
love each
which I think is
other.
just
Genuinely love
they
and
do,
care
and
about
it's so
each other.
cute.
They're brothers. They
Yeah.
are the Bat Boys in real
Yeah.
life. I think that's what's really cool about this cast and what's really special. And so many people I've talked to have said the same thing, like just about the production in general, but like the fact that everybody's there for passion, everybody's there for the right reasons,
Mhm.
everybody's there to like to
Yep.
they know the story, they love the characters, and they are there to like passionately bring these characters to life and then like exude their craft, and they're just so talented. Each and every one of them are so talented. Um but what's so special about the cast is like they are their characters. Like and we
Everyone
are a
is.
family, and we do feel like the
Yeah.
inner circle. um and when I'm acting with
Especially when we're all
them,
together.
yeah, when I'm acting with them, like especially like 70, so like personally like 654, I was just like, this is cool to be on a camera. I've never been on a camera before. Let me just walk in and throw a coat. And then 70 was like, okay, I actually have a little bit of a more depth lines with Azrael, which I really loved. But then most of the movie, I'm just kind of standing there, and then my fight scene was super freaking cool. um I got to do a
It
fight
was.
scene, guys. If you haven't seen 70 yet, go check it out because it was so fucking fun. But 65, I actually was, I mean, so comfortable and so had so much rapport with these people, like where I was on the floor with Corey and Zach for hours and hours. And then I got to do the townhouse scene with Max and Jane. And I'm just like, these are my inner circle. Like, I feel like I understand like Morgan and why she loves them so much. And obviously, like, I love you. So it's like easy, hi lady, like, whatever, that's fine, fair. It's like, that's my girl. So I don't know. It's so special. It's so cool. And I
Mhm.
don't know if it's rare or not. I don't know what the real film industry and production is like, but it feels special. If it's even, it feels
It
rare.
feels special. Like when I saw
Ugh,
like the sisters getting dragged out, because again we did 65 to the cauldron scene. That to me, I had contacts in, and contacts dry your eyes out when you wear them for too long. Like they're just, it's, these are colored contacts, they're just dry eyed. And I was, all day. And, we're using tear sticks and different things like that and these
dude,
tools.
shout out to
But the
tear sticks.
first,
Holy hell. Those were amazing on me. They worked so well.
they still didn't
They
work.
worked so well for me. I
So,
literally
fun
was
fact
just
on chapter
crying.
70, like I had one, I on purposely dehydrated myself so I wouldn't have to go to the bathroom and change out of my leathers too many times. And then I didn't realize like that also makes it incredibly hard for you to cry because if you have no liquid in your body for like 48, 72 hours, it's a little hard to do. So we were literally, I was like, they gave me like Bengay and they're like trying to put that like under my eye. And I was like, give it to me. And I'm like shoving it in my actual eyeball. No water's coming
It's
out. I'm like,
crazy.
what's going on? And it was just wild. That's a side story. But
Dehydrated.
for chapter 65, the cauldron, when my sisters like, so Sierra and Maury got brought out, the first take of it all, um, I was behind the village, like, so I was behind the camera, and like we had like a big TV set up so everyone, like the director Sheila and like the assistant director Joe, can all watch and like see if they like the shot. And I was just back there with a couple other people while they were like filming them getting brought out. And I will cry thinking about it because I can replay the scene in my brain. Um, but that was the most, because I love both Maury and Sierra with like my whole heart. We had like Sister Solstice, like love them. And kind of like you were saying, like the inner circle, like I really do feel like these relationships and like the they're really there.
Yeah.
And even like Drew being the Suriel for 70, I have like the most amount of love for Drew.
Yeah.
I'll cry thinking about it and just thinking about like, and even like Grayson as the Weaver. Technically, Feyre doesn't love the Weaver, but I freaking love Grayson.
Grayson's
Um,
so amazing. Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
yeah, and Maddie and Connor and like
Everyone. We
literally
just
like
love
Bethany,
there's so
David,
much
Luke, Matt.
love.
Like I can literally like yeah, literally Aaron, Tigga. Like I can just start naming people that have joined us for like 70, like Kelsey, and we have Tessa, and I'm just like there's so many people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Cass
Ileana,
and
Katie.
Eliana
Yeah.
and yeah, and
Yeah.
literally we've had oh my god, like Tommy and MJ obviously as well. Like there's just been so many people that I've created this like deep like
Family.
yeah, it's like a family and it really is and it's like it really like the best way I can describe it and I'm pregnant so I'm allowed to cry.
Dude, I want to
Just
cry every
saying.
5 seconds. So go ahead.
Um the best way I can describe this entire group of people who showed up on chapter 70, who showed up to the premieres, and who showed up for 65, they are the definition of like the court of dreams. And
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
like when people say, when people comment underneath certain posts, like, oh, you're our high lady because I portray Feyre in our fan films. It's this different sense. I don't think they realize what they're actually saying and like what it really means to me. It's more or less like you're a member of our court of dreams, like in my court of dreams, and like you are literally like you I may be portraying Feyre, but we're all in this court of dreams together. And like
Yeah.
just
I
because,
love
like
that.
it, it just I don't know, like it just really
Well,
it just makes me feel more like this is like the when Sarah said in the books and Rhysand called them all the court of dreams, like this is what she meant. Like it is just a group of dreamers and to the stars who listen, the dreams that answered. And it's just a group of dreamers who are so passionate and love these stories. And everyone wants to contribute in some way to these stories because these stories mean so much to all of us that
man, you're gonna make me cry,
we like it
Taylor.
is a group of people who are the court of dreams. So I know I'm trying not to cry. I cry often thinking about
It's
this.
yeah, that's exactly. I mean, I think both of
Like
you
I
and
look at
I took away from 70 like wow. Like I think 70 was such a testament to the community. Like it was
like Teresa and Andre's like their
yeah.
fight choreo,
Hmm.
beautiful.
Amazing.
Like
It really
phenomenal.
showed us like 70
Yeah.
showed us like I would just sit there and like look around at all the extras and all the people who showed up and the volunteers
Yeah.
and just be like, "Holy crap." Like this is our
Like Kelsey,
community. This is our
she
community. Like we
yeah.
fostered something
Like if
that
you think
was
of
like
like so
this.
Kelsey and Kay
Whew.
are two people that came to chapter 54, the premiere.
Yes.
And then Kelsey and Kay both they came to chapter 54 premiere. We met them there. And then they came to filming of chapter 70 and they were part of our extras in chapter 70.
No
So
matter.
Kelsey was Highburn and then Kay was part of like one of the courts. And I just remember like, oh my gosh, they were in chapter 70. And I remember sitting there being like, oh, they were at the 54 premiere. And like we just kind of clicked at the 54 premiere and then just kind of created this friendship from that. And then from the 54 premiere to then chapter 70 to then Kelsey, and then they came to the chapter 70 premiere, which was insanely cool. And I was like, wow, can you believe it? Like, you were here last time, the last premiere. This is where we all met. And then Kelsey came back and helped us out on chapter 65 as like an actual like team member and like making sure everyone's hair was beautiful and helping Ileana. And I was just like, Kelsey's been with us for a while now, which is
And if you think about it too,
incredible. And
like we
I'm
met
so
Obs and Joe
grateful.
at
Like,
54 too. Obs and Joe we met at 54.
holy sugar, Obs and Joe. Okay, pause for Obs. Like,
Yeah.
Val calls her sanity keeper. Aubrey is my heart and my soul. Like that woman, just everything
She
to me,
deserves
and
the
then some.
world. Hmm.
and then some, like
So
literally everything and
talented.
then some.
She
Like I
created not only the cauldron in 65, but she also created the freaking crossbow and
for Jurian.
for Jurian and the crossbolt that goes into
Also,
it.
she Compendio is her company for
Hmm.
anyone wondering, who does like consulting and like kind of helps like event planning and like, really whatever you need. And like OBS, we used Compendio and they like just literally to like streamline all of our information when it came to call sheets. Well, no, Joe did call sheets. When it came to like any emails, any updates, um, like all of our
Just
like
organization,
everything that
organizing
you organize.
everything,
Yeah, that's the
getting
word I was looking
quotes
for.
for
Like
like
literally everything.
catering, like making sure everyone
Mm-hmm.
like she like did tailored like itineraries for everybody.
For
All
everyone,
the cast members,
which is
all the crew
wild.
members, where you needed to be, address,
Mm-hmm.
directions, like that's why I call her my sanity manager because I'm like, you literally like took like what I would want to do and then did that thing and better than I could even have
In
imagined
such short time,
in
and
so
it's
short
so
time.
high
So
quality.
good, such high
It's
quality.
like she's like her turnaround time. I'm like, where do you, but what? And
So
she's just
good.
so good at this. So like Compendio for anyone who needs anything like organizational wise. You have an event coming up, you even have like your own wedding coming up, you have a baby shower, bridal shower, or you are doing a fan film and you want to
Or book
use
the
OBS.
bookish
I
events
cannot
especially like could so benefit
Oh my
from
gosh,
Aubrey.
yes.
So if you're an event
Streamline
company,
everything.
Compendio. But yeah, it's just cool to
Compendio.
see like Aubrey was in our You Do Not Yield. And then for 65, she played Amarantha. So we have a little Amarantha action
Yes.
in 65. Um, we still haven't
Yeah.
revealed our top secret female character, so we're not revealing
Secret
that
character.
yet
You'll
still
see
on the
that in the trailer.
podcast.
You'll know. You'll figure it out.
But yeah, if
Um,
you're a podcast listener, you hear it first that it's going to be revealed in the 65 trailer. So stay tuned for that to
yes.
find out who Sue is playing. I will say that Sue did a
Sue's phenomenal.
phenomenal job. What a phenomenal actress. You guys are
Love her.
in for a wild ride with 65. Um,
It's literally when people were like, "Oh, do the cauldron scene," and we were like, "Okay, cauldron scene," and then
ah,
just kind of forgot the last 100 pages of any Sarah J. Maas book is complete and utter chaos, and
chaos.
just totally was like, "Woo!" And I was like, in my brain when they said, "Oh, the cauldron scene," and we picked that scene, I just found out I was pregnant. I was like, "Perfect." I'm barely in the scene. It's just about Elaine and Nesta, essentially. Um, this is going to be great. And so
And
then
instead, everyone's dying
I
left and
remember,
freaking right. Like, I didn't realize how many
yes,
times
and
I
a
was gonna have to
lot is going
scream.
on.
There's so many screams. So many people
So many
scream.
screams.
I have two screams. One of them
Yeah.
I'm okay with. One of them I don't really like, but it's fine. Um,
I think I only have technically one.
you have two screams.
I go like I don't really count like when I go down as a scream though.
It's
It's
kind of
more like because
screamy.
it doesn't say she scream. She didn't say she screams, so I didn't scream.
You
But
sounded like
anyway,
you were
so
in
it was
pain.
like I was like making noises like I was like dying. But
Yeah.
so I'm gonna sound like in labor. Just
Yeah.
kidding. I hope not.
So a lot of people ask
um,
us what is next, and I'm sure people are asking that if they're listening to this episode at all. Where are you
yeah,
guys going? What is next? What's on the horizon? And the answer is
the podcast. Duh.
I think
Just
the best
kidding,
way to
but not
answer
really.
that, I guess, and feel free to jump in if I'm missing anything here, but I think where Whimsy is going is we are taking it back to the podcast right now, taking it back to our roots, to the books. While Taylor finishes out her pregnancy, has to give birth. We are
And
reveling.
65s in
Yeah,
post.
we're reveling in 65 post production right now, um, will be releasing this fall. And after Taylor gives birth, you know, we will let you guys know what we're gonna do. There's a lot of things, a lot of really good things happening for Whimsy in the background. We have a lot of different avenues and paths we can go down, and so we're just trying to figure out what's next. Still, we don't know. I mean, honestly, at this point, we don't know, but we're gonna figure
Yeah.
it out, and we'll let
There's
you
a lot of
know.
different opportunities.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we kind of have in the works at the moment. Um, and it's more or less like which one are we doing
yeah.
first? I would say is kind of
It's hard to choose like
like
what to do
where
first with all
it's
the
very
different
hard
things
to
that we
choose.
have. um, so with that being said, though, let's talk about our favorite moments from chapter 70 and chapter 65. Taylor, do you want to go first?
Okay.
At least let's start with chapter 70. Favorite moment.
Chapter 70, favorite moment. Okay, so it was probably, if not the welcome party and seeing everyone together and Grayson finding this really cute frog. Um, it
Frog.
was probably, I would say, when Sierra, Maury, and I walked out as like the Archeron sisters for the first time in the field, and we were walking onto the field for the first time, seeing the whole setup of the field, seeing all the extras, seeing Zach as Cassian, Max was out there as Resand, Corey was already as, you were already out there as Moore, and everyone was already out there and they were, I'm going to cry, and they were already dressed and ready. And 70 was always like the scene that I really wanted to see come to life. Um, and I think when we walked out there, we were holding hands.
Yeah.
And I just remember like looking around and like, before while we were walking up there, I've known Sierra for like over a decade of my life. And so we already have like a very sisterly banter to one another. And Maury just kind of fit right in with that banter. And it just flowed really well. And I think it was Winter who was walking up with us,
Shout out to
made a
Winter, by the way.
comment.
Oh, love her.
Shout out to Winter for the best behind the scenes. Like she's just on it all the time, always coming with cute ideas and like trends, and she's just on it. Love you, Winter. Um, and I just remember her saying something like, "Oh my gosh, the way you guys interact with one another, you already act like your sisters." And then she said that, and I just like, turned and I was like, "Really? Okay." I was like, "That's kind of funny." Because again, like the three of us were like kind of meeting each other for like all three of us today, like we're figuring out this dynamic for the first time. And then we walked out on the field and just seeing everything. And then some people like cheered and made comments, but it was just like seeing everyone together and being like, and I just remember like squeezing their hands, like holy cannoli, like this is really happening. And that was the first time I kind of was like on set for 70. And yeah, it's a long-winded answer, but
Yeah.
that was my favorite moment.
My favorite
What about you
moment.
for 70?
Yeah, my favorite moment was the fight choreo. Like just realizing that I had to do a fight scene and not knowing anything. And Andres and Teresa were so absolutely incredible. And I got to see like I saw them like doing things, with people all day, but finally like getting to have that one-on-one with them. Um and then Zach coming over and like him having this whole idea of like I'm gonna throw you the sword. I'm gonna yell more and I'm gonna throw you the sword. And I was like, okay. And just the fact that we literally did like that whole fight, like I got one like chance to do the fight scene. I got to flip like Jay over my shoulder. Um and
I
then I
love Jay and Rin.
yeah, and I caught the sword every single time. It was like 6 times in a row that I caught that freaking sword, and I love how it turned out. So that was just my favorite part of the day because I got to have blood on my face and I just felt like so cool, even though I felt like I looked really silly, but it turned out I guess okay on camera. So that was just my favorite moment, and like just Zach is just awesome to work with. He's just so funny and like he's always just so witty on
All the
set.
time.
And I just felt like it was such a great Cassian and Moore moment that we got to have where he like comes and like basically saves me because I'm like, I need a sword, a weapon. I don't have anything. I don't know. So I just
Yeah.
love that memory. And I also love the fact that like Sheila and Steven were kind of like really stressed out at that point because we were running out of daylight and we were running out of time. And I feel like this always happens where I'm like I have to like go up to them and be like, but this was a thing that was like we were gonna do and like I really want to do it. So I had to like kind of like beg for it and it worked. I was like, no, I can do it. So he's like, just show me what it is. And I showed him. I showed Steven and they were like, okay, okay, okay. And then like I got like my portion in like one take. And I feel like the same thing happened on 65 where I literally they were like, well, you're pretty close to the girls, so we don't think we're gonna like have you do the winnow. And I was like, but I really want a winnow. So I had to like fight for my winnow and I got it. So anyway, that was my favorite.
So wait, what was then your favorite moment on 65 then?
Oh my god. Oh boy. My favorite moment on 65. Oh, no, I don't know because everyone's acting was so stellar, but I really do think it was when I saw behind the screen. I got to be behind the screen when I saw Drew. Um,
Drew was Highburn.
Drew when I got to see Drew, like he was like, oh, "I don't believe it. You left your mate, or what is it? She left.
I don't
I don't
believe
believe it.
it.
She left you only to
You
find her mate." The
find her
cauldron has
mate.
a warped
The
sense
mother
of
has a
humor.
warped sense.
Humor or whatever. The mother is it the
Yeah,
mother? I don't even know the lines. I should know
I
it.
think it's the mother has a warped sense of humor. I know it only because I've watched that clip so many times, and then also like
And
I
what a
was there, and I was
talent.
just
Tell
like,
me, girl, how did you unravel that
"How
spell?
did you
And
unravel that
I
spell?"
realized in that
I'm not as
moment,
cool as Drew.
yeah, I realized in that moment, fuck. And I think it's also because like he did that line during the like on our reveal video that we were doing the cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a full circle. That to me was a full circle of like, and here it
Moment.
is. Um, Either that or uh Corey's like falling to the
Corey
ground or
gets shot with the
screaming. I
arrow.
loved it. It was great.
So good.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was definitely day one, and it was
Can I
the
just say the whole
last scene of
thing?
the day. It was like the last scene of the day,
Mm,
and it's where we had like everyone fill the room, and it was the last shot with the guards, and the girls were there, and it was so cool because in that moment, I just remember like taking like 2 seconds because it was the last shot of the day, so we're like, let's go. And I just like took a moment just to like take it all in. Like everyone is in the room. This is what it looks like. Like all these people are here because they love these stories. They believe in the vision of Whimsy. Most of them are our friends that have just been so supportive this entire time, like Leslie and Brandon as well. And I'm just trying to like as I'm like going around the room, like Dakota, I love you so much.
love her.
Um, love of my life.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Corey, watch out.
He got to kill
Anyway,
her. Spoiler alert.
yeah, he did. Um, and oh, I think he also, I think it was it Zach. I think killed Connor as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think he got to like throw him up against a wall. But anyway, so unalive Connor. Sorry,
It's
oops.
fine.
We're getting back to podcast and the right terminology. But yeah, there's just so many people that I love and that we love that have like brought these stories together and like to life and that have just, there are Court of Dreams.
Yeah.
There's so many people who are part of the Court of Dreams, and this was just part of our Court of Dreams, was in the room at that moment. And it was just, again, sitting there, taking it in, and just like being so full of gratitude and being
Yes.
so grateful of just like looking around at everyone and being like, gosh, like I literally love all of you so much.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, Katie, getting her to have like finally join us on set,
Oh
that was
my God, my
amazing.
Katie girl.
Highlight finally.
I
I was
love you.
so
Shout out to
excited. I
Katie.
love
She
Katie
literally
so
like
much.
has like self-funded so much stuff for our projects. She's
Oh my
got
gosh.
us the two giant
The best.
carpets that you'll see in 65 that helped protect
Mhm.
the floor underneath when we put blood and water on it. Um So yeah, I just love
Also,
Katie.
Katie made me so two things really quick. So both Katie's. Katie for hair and makeup, Kate the Bookish Hobbit, got me the sweetest onesie, and it says to the dream that listened.
So cute.
I cried. I was like, that is the sweetest thing I've ever seen. It was the cutest onesie, and it just means so much to see people like loving and supporting Amelia and me
Yeah.
being pregnant. Because like part of me gets nervous, like, you having a baby in this space, and it's like, oh, people are gonna think it's weird or like not care, or be kind of like, oh, like why are you like having a kid? Like we're not, or they're not there yet. I don't know, or they just, I don't know, or like treat you differently. But so then yeah, so she got me the sweetest onesie, and that was like day one. Sorry, I'm yawning. I'm always tired.
It's okay.
And then Katie, like Miss RN fangirl, Katie,
Angel.
handmade me Angel. I've actually gotten to see her in Disney World before this. So that was really nice. We got to hang out and meet there. And she, oh my gosh, she gave me a little gift there too, because Katie's the best. She's just so thoughtful. Like her love language is definitely gift giving, and she's
100%.
good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave me this beautiful hand quilted blanket for Amelia, my daughter. And then on top of that, she made me scrunchies that match the pattern on the quilt,
Oh, I
so
didn't
that
know about
while
the
I'm at work,
scrunchies.
when I go back to work, I have like a matching scrunchie I can wear, and it's kind of like she's with me.
Oh my God, Katie. Wow.
I know. I was crying. It's currently in Amelia's nursery room right now.
That's so
My
sweet.
nursery isn't ready, but the quilt is there. There's like nothing in there, and nothing is ready, but her quilt is in the room. Um, yeah, so it was just the sweetest thing, and like seeing the community. It's just a community. I think is like
It's
I guess
crazy to
both
me.
films so far. It's just community.
It's
That's my
community.
favorite part about both of them.
It's
Yeah,
true, true
Court of Dreams.
community. And
Yeah,
I think the biggest thing is like how, oh God, I can't even express the gratitude and like how wild it is to me, like looking around and being like, all of this because two people loved a book
yeah,
and then all of these people loved a book. And I just, and I think it really hit me 70 and 65, like the people believe in what we're doing so much that they'll invest their time, their energy, their resources, give their talent. And to see what can be created when a ton of passionate, creative people come together is so beautiful. And I'm just so grateful that we've been doing Whimsy Gossip for 2 years and I've been able to see this come to life not once, but twice now on a large scale
twice.
with 70 and 65.
Yeah,
I just,
yeah.
gratitude doesn't seem like a big enough word to describe the
No,
feeling that I feel and how much I just love all these people so much.
so much.
Everyone
Like
leveled up. I
literally
will say
deep
this,
amounts of
like you
love.
guys are not ready for 65. We say that every movie, but truly, 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 like every single person leveled up. Like our cast leveled up. Everyone's so comfortable in front of the camera. Max yelled at me. I will say this to the day I die. Like Max yelling at me was actually probably my favorite moment from 70. Like I didn't know. I guess I knew he had it in him because he's a phenomenal actor, but like Max yelling at me will forever go down as like a core memory, like a freaking core memory. Loved it. Loved it. And y'all aren't ready for it. It's so good.
Yeah. And when I tell you Drew as Highburn, and that's going to change your brain chemistry, and then Jay as Jurian,
Oh,
you're never going to see Jurian the same anymore, and
no.
you might be Jurian's number one fan.
The
Um,
queens,
yeah, those
gorgeous,
are two characters.
ethereal.
The
Oh,
queens,
the queens.
the queens alone added a whole extra layer and their guards to like
Oh,
our film. I'm going to be so honest. Like, so for this film, the guards, the queens, and the queen's guards, different level. Like, they are
The
pretty
costuming,
much one of the
Colin. Can
heavy
we actually
reasons.
just take a second to talk about Colin?
Colin,
Who that'll segue into what's coming up this season on Whimsy Gossip. And one of those things is
I could kiss the ground that man
an
walks
interview
on.
with
Sorry.
Colin the Necromaker. He leveled up for this film. He didn't even level up because he was already this good, but he just brought more pieces. He did 9 pieces, I believe, for chapter 65 in total. He
Yeah.
custom created Hybern's entire costume. It's incredible. Cassian, of course, is a return. Rhysand's costume,
Asriel.
Asriel, the
He
siphons.
made Asriel's.
Taylor and I are both
I
wearing
don't want
his
to go too into
pieces.
it.
Ugh. But
Yeah, I don't want to go
he'll
too
go.
much into it because I want to like give him the
Oh yeah,
floor to
he'll
speak
talk about
on
all of it.
like, oh gosh.
Yeah, but
He's
Colin is,
phenomenal.
yeah,
We love Colin.
love
I'm sorry if
Colin.
you hear my dog crying.
If you guys need costumes
He's
for
just a little
literally
crybaby right now.
anything, like if you want to look good, Colin, it's at the Necromaker. Um, Also, guys, too, like we're launching a new website. So we're just segueing here, but we're launching a new website, whimsygossip.com. So www.whimsygossip.com. And my friend Dom created it for us. When I launch it, I'm gonna like shout out all of her email and socials so you guys can get in touch with her so that she can also make
Mm-hmm.
you a website because holy hell, we have just
This
upgraded
website is next level. She
129,000%.
is so cool.
It's the coolest website
She made
ever.
us look a lot cooler than I think we are.
What I love about
I don't
this
think we're that
website, guys,
cool,
I'm just going to take a second,
but
and this is all over the place, but this is our welcome
yeah.
back episode. But I'm just going to take a second to shout out this website because what's so special about it is that it's finally given us a place to highlight our cast and crew and like have you guys have one solid place to see who was a part of which film, who did what on each film, so that hopefully when people go to our website, they can easily find the people that helped us so that they can hire them or say, hey, I want that person in my film, or I want this person to be my assistant director, or I want who did your costuming and the duology. So like Lindsay and Taylor Ash, they freaking
Mm-hmm.
composed 70 for us, and oh my god, it was amazing. They're going to come back for 65. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, it's crazy.
Dom's phenomenal.
Dom is phenomenal and she's great at what she does.
So talented.
So
It's
whimsygossip.com.
so inclusive as well.
Yes, it has inclusivity features and so much more. So I'm just really excited for you guys to check that out. So
Yeah.
coming up,
It's great.
yeah.
And we have some special guests. And then I think this series, like our series that we're gonna highlight this season is The Hunger Games, which is super exciting because we've both seen the movies. I read the books, oh gosh, like a decade ago, over a decade ago, like but back in, I'm not gonna make me sound too old, but like back when the movies came out, I read the books and I was in high school. Um,
I've
so
never
do with
read
that
the
what you
books. This is
will.
my first time reading the books. I've only seen the movies and I'm a huge, huge fan of the
Yeah.
film. Um,
So, and with the Sunrise and the Reaping that just came out and Songbird, um, I think it was like, I think it's fun because there's the 3 original Hunger Games and then there's the 2 new ones that just came out. So that's like our series we're following, but then we also have individual books
yes.
that we're
So we're going to
also going to be
be
speaking on.
probably getting to talk about Onyx Storm finally, since that came out in January. I'm gonna have to definitely refresh myself on that, but I would love to talk about it because I
Oh, I
very
have to
much
reread
enjoyed
that.
Onyx Storm so much, and I feel like there's a lot to talk about there, as far as where's it going
Hmm.
and what's going to be happening in the next book and our theories. So Onyx Storm is on the docket.
Oh.
Um, Quicksilver.
Again, sorry if you hear my dog crying. He did just get fixed today, so he's coming out of his anesthesia still,
Poor
they said.
baby.
So I know he's a little scaredy boy. He was also a rescue. He's fine, He's so if you hear any weird noises, it's not me or Valerie, and you're listening to the podcast. It's just my little pup
Little
is,
puppy, former Fred.
having a time. Former Fred, his name is Echo. If you're watching, you're seeing full face of Echo.
So yeah, so we're gonna
But
be
anyway.
so we're gonna be also covering Quicksilver, which is a really hot book right now. Heard, mostly good
Mm-hmm.
things, but also some criticism. So I'm really excited to dive in. And
Actually, right here.
also I'm gonna try to get through The Serpent of the Wings and Night. This is also a series.
That's
Um,
somewhere on
and
there.
I heard it's very good about kind of like vampires. So hopefully we're going to get to this as well this season. And then as far as guests go, we have a lot of people lined up. I'm not going to probably say it until we get them all scheduled, but one of them is going to be Colin.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to have like Stephen Walker on as well, and then a few other guests. So it's going to be a really exciting season. Also,
Busy.
hopefully one of my like childhood dream authors is going to be coming on um at some point, who knows. And so if that does happen, we will also be reading her book in preparation for that interview. So we'll see. A lot of things in the work, like we said. So I feel like
A
just
lot
on
of
all
fun
fronts, I
things.
feel so happy to be back at the podcast. I feel like there's so much potential with the podcast alongside the films, and it's just really exciting. It's a really exciting
Mm-hmm.
time and a really exciting place to be with Whimsy, and I'm just really, really proud of Whimsy right now and where it's going in the future.
Yeah. Yes. So I think with that note,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's it for
I know it was a
episode
lot.
1 on season 4. Yay! Thank you for listening to us ramble for the last hour and change.
Yes, I know. It's crazy. It was kind of all over the place. So we'll try to do better in the future, but bear with us. This is our first episode, back. And
Kind of getting our feet wet and
yeah, I just love being back on this platform, being able to just like talk to you for like an hour. Um,
I
and
know.
have it be recorded. But so you guys, please be sure to follow us at Whimsy Gossip on all of our platforms, or find us on whimsygossip.com. You can find all of our fan films on YouTube. Chapter 70 is out now on YouTube. And just follow us on our socials to get all the updates on what we're doing and where we're headed. And yeah, I think that's it for us for now. I love you, Taylor.
And I'm gonna go take care of my dogs. I love you too, Val. I have two. I have this one who's crying, and I have another one who's also crying. So I'm gonna go take care of my crying puppies.
All right. I love you so much.
So
We will
hopefully
catch you
by next
guys.
episode
Yeah,
will
we'll
be
catch you
better.
guys next week for another episode of Whimsy Gossip. Bye.
All right, bye.